What's going on, everybody? This is Al from PlaybookGamer.com, and today we're going to look at the BYU Pro Style Playbook in College Football 25. Now, the game calls it a Pro Style Playbook, and I agree with that, but you got to keep in mind, it's pretty much nothing but shotgun. So if you are used to like the Georgia or the Texas Playbook, where it's all shotgun, but it's got a lot of Pro Style elements built into it, this one's no different, but it has its own little spin on how it likes to do it. So we're going to go over the formations, concepts, play types, personnel, and we're also going to look at the roster at the end, and we can kind of cover some of the players you may want to use if you're going to use this type of offense. So let's dive right into it. Let's start off with the formation. So like I said, it's nothing but shotgun formations, but we do have one non-gun formation, and that is one out of a single back. You off. This is a 12 personnel look. We got 6 plays. It's about what you'd expect. It's got some run and drop back, but a little bit of play action built into it. But again, it's only 6 plays, but we do got a little pre-snap motion if you need it. We got a play action deep cross and an inside zone split that work really well together. One thing I want to keep in mind here is this head coach, Kalani Sitake, I hope I said his name correctly. He's been there for quite a while. They used to do a lot of under center stuff several years back, but they just kind of, I guess, went away from it. Now it's pretty much all shotgun. But definitely use this formation if you just want to change it up, go under the center and just run up the gut a little bit easier than what you would try to do out of the shotgun. But let's dive into the shotgun. Our first shotgun formation is gun ace, 18 plays. That is another 12 personnel look with the 1 back and 2 tight end. Then we got deuce, another 12 personnel formation. So we've looked at 3 straight 12 personnel formations. So if you need a couple tight ends out there, you've got plenty of plays to work with. Let's keep going. We got normal Y off close, our first 11 personnel look. That's 1 back and 1 tight end. Then we got the weak version of that. Then we got Y off trips. Then wing trips weak, another 11 personnel formation. Then we got wide trail offset weak. Then we got trips tight end. So one thing I want to point out is we got several trips looks. Yes, we got some 2x2s, as you see like here with normal Y off weak. You got 2 receivers on one end and a tight end and a receiver on the other. But then it gets really trips heavy after this, until we get to the more spread sets. For example, double stack. We got several true spread looks, even though we may have a tight end out there. So number 1 is our tight end, so keep that in mind. This is an 11 personnel look. Then we got spread halfback week. The tight end is still out there, but at least it's still spread. 21 plays there. Then we got spread flex. This is a really fun formation. We'll dive into its plays here in a little bit, but again, your tight end is still out there by default. Then we get into trio Y flex, another unique formation. I don't think a lot of playbooks have this one. We got trips halfback week. This is the true and only 10 personnel look we have. This is a 4 wide set. We got plenty of plays, 21 there. Then we got tray open. Your tight end gets back out there again. And then we got empty tray flex. This is technically an 0-1 personnel formation. So you got 4 wide receivers and a tight end. Let's start off at the very beginning and go back to gun ace, and let's just look and see what we have here. So normally what I do is I like to look for the pre-snap motion through all these. These are nice little mini schemes to kind of work off of in this playbook, and there's not a ton in here, but we're going to go through it. So I'm going to quickly just go through these plays, and we're going to go and see if we can find any of that pre-snap motion stuff before we dive into the actual plays. Here we got normal Y off close. We got a jet sweep series. We got the jet touch pass, the fake zone, and then the play action on top of that. We keep on going. We got a zone fake jet. So you got 4 plays to work off of there. Keep on going. Normal Y off week. Do we have any here? We do not. What about Y off trips week? We got a little bit of a tight end look. We got an inside zone split. We got a PA motion slide and a Y lead read option. I'm going to call it the play action because this is a pro style playbook. Fun little play right here. You got a backside comeback, good against man. You do something like this. Hit him over here. Good little play. And he drops it. Either way, yeah, fun little play there. Nice little mini scheme if you want to roll with that one. We'll keep on going. I think that is it out of this formation. That is correct. Wing trips week. Do we have any pre-snap motion here? We do not. What about Y off trio offset week? We got some Z motion. We got a motion Z spot. That's very pro style-ish. We got outside zone, and we got a PA motion slot. And I'm actually going to call the run play out of this one. Fun little window dressing, but again, this is pro style offense. So just think a lot of basic runs with your halfback, and you just got to hope for decent blocking out of that. But at least that's a nice little mini scheme for you to work off of. We'll keep on going. I think that is it for this formation, that little group right there. Let's keep on going. Trips tight end. Normally, you don't have any pre-snap motion out of these two trips looks. What about double stack? I don't think we have any here. What about spread halfback weak? I don't think we have any here. Let's see. Spread flex. Here we go. So this is a really fun formation. This is very like Urban Meyer spread option-ish type stuff. But we got a jet sweep, and we got play action off of that. We got a shovel option built in with the pre-snap motion, which is pretty cool. This is your only triple option play, by the way, which we'll cover a little bit later. You keep on going. We got speed option. We got load option. I'm going to go ahead and call that one. Let's go up against dime. Really cool here. Get your wide receiver going. And a little option look right here. We may be able to get a touchdown if I can get past that guy. Either way, great little play. And again, this is a pro-style offense, but got a little option built into it. If you need it, it's got some of the more basic stuff. Again, just basic speed option and things of that nature. Let's keep on going. We got the load option. We got any more? What about trio Y flex? This is a really unique formation. No pre-snap motion there. What about trips halfback weak? So you notice it starts off with a bunch of screens. Wide receiver mid-screen, it's old school, but it's very steroid based in terms of everybody and their brothers blocking for you. Now it just comes down to, can you get a free release and get up the field? But anyway, I think that's a nice little change up play when you got like 6 dudes trying to block for that wide receiver. I just wanted to point out that play. I think it's pretty neat. You keep on going. I don't think we have any here. Usually the more spread out you go, the less pre-snap motion you have. Tray opened. I don't think we have any here. We do not. And see, go back. Notice we got another wide receiver mid-screen. Look at that. The entire line and that receiver on that side is blocking for that receiver, which is pretty cool. Empty tray flex. I don't think we have any here. So as you notice, there's not a ton of pre-snap motion. But you got, I don't know, about 5 or 6 formations that's got some of it in there. Now, we've talked about some personnel. I want to go back to this and let's look at that a little more closely. So the bulk of the offense is going to be 11 personnel like most of these playbooks are. Okay, but you got a little bit more to work with. You got your 23, that's just your goal line. Your 32 is just your QB kneel. Your 21 is just your clock management. But your 12 personnel, you got enough here to work with. You got 18 plays out of ace, 15 out of deuce, and 6 out of U off. So 18 plus 15, that gives you 33, plus 6, that gives you 39. So you got about 40 plays if you need 2 tight ends out there. And that doesn't include some of the formations, some of these where you can get 2 tight ends there via sub packages. So keep that in mind. So this is a tight end friendly offense, in my opinion. You go back to personnel. Let's go to 10 personnel. So again, this is the only 10 personnel formation in the playbook. But that's all you need. I mean, that's enough. You got 21 plays there. However, we got that 0-1 personnel. So if you need to go 4 wide in various ways, you got over 30 plays to work with out of these 2 formations alone. All right, now let's talk about the actual concepts, what really makes up the playbook. Notice the play counts here. We got a little bit more run, and we got some option, and we got quick passes and mediums and deeps. It's not the biggest playbook in the game, but it's got more than what you need. But let's start off with the basic runs. Now, you got to remember, this is a pro-style offense. It's going to have a lot of your basic handoffs and such. We got 4 counters. Normally, you'll have that much power. You come over here, we actually got a little bit more power than counter. I like power. If you can just have enough patience with the blocking, I think it works pretty well. Just got to read your blocks and then just cut up field and get a nice little here. There we go. A nice little 8-yard gain. But you can complement that with that counter as well. Or you can go strictly zone running and do nothing but inside zone. We got 16 inside zones, and there's various looks of these. You got basic inside zone. You got a zone split if you want a backside tight end helping you out. Plenty of inside zone split because you got that offset tight end, a lot of these formations. But notice I skipped something. I skipped draw. Notice the play count here. We got 10 draws. This tells you this is a pro-style playbook. It's a lot of drop back in this. So yes, you got some play action, which we'll cover here in a little bit, but this should tell you there is a lot of drop back passing to go with all these draws. I think draw works pretty well in this game. Now I'm going to go ahead and call this and watch this get blown up. But either way, I think the draws work decent enough. You just need decent blocking to go with it. Something like this, I'll take that any day of the week. Again, you're going to do a lot of drop back. Make sure you use halfback draw as part of the offense. If you go with inside zone, we got some outside zone. We got 5 of them, which actually is a high number for the amount of shotgun we have. Notice 4 of the 5 plays are shotgun based. I would definitely use it if you're going to complement inside zone. So it depends on how deep you want to make your run game. Do you want it to be zone running, nothing but? Use these 3 alone. If you need a little more power built into a little gap scheme, throw a little power in there and then throw a little counter. We got a little bit more to look at though. We got 2 sweeps. We got a trap, and we got a reverse. But again, the bulk of what you're going to be doing is probably going to be the zone running. if I had to guess. Let's go to option. So as I've been saying already, this is a pro style playbook, but it's got some option built into it. But what I like, it's got the very basic option, which is like speed and load. So see here, we got 5 speeds / load options. We already looked at that one out of spread flex. These are the 5 speeds again. You got 3 inverted veers, and that's actually kind of a high number for this type of playbook. If you like that type of gap option concept, there you go. You got 11 read options. That's usually the most common option concept in the game. 11 is more than enough if you want to move your quarterback around a little bit. There's that shovel option we looked at. I'm going to go ahead and call this. Let's see if I can make this look halfway decent. Do a little pre-snap motion. I will probably pitch this one to the outside. I probably should have went to the inside on that one. Either way, you got one if you need it. You don't build your entire offense around that, but it's in there, again, if you want to use it or not. There's the triple option play we just looked at, the shovel option. And it's got some RPOs. We got 8 RPO reads. Notice it's mostly bubble-based. There's a bubble. I see another bubble. There's a Y flat, another bubble, and you got something like an alert screen. You got RPO peaks. These are like quick slants, or you can do a little pop, a little shock fade off the top of that if you need it. Some glance routes. And then we got 4 alerts. Just really quick, get the ball out. So, you got a little bit of RPO. This ain't going to be the big part of your offense, but if you need a little extra built into it, you got some of it here if you need it. Let's look at the quick pass. So we got 4 Ohios. This is a go out combo. I think those work really well. Old school quick passing concept. We got a couple of Omahas. We got 14 slants. This is one of the higher number of slant playbooks I've seen in the entire game. And normally when you have that much slant, you have that much stick. But if you go to stick, you only got 7 of them. But if you go back to slant, notice a lot of it's stick built in on one side with slant on the other. So you're going to go back and forth between these two, but you got plenty to work with at least. So that your entire quick passing concept game is going to come off of those two concepts. Let's go to medium pass. We got 6 choice, so any type of option route. The play that's got one, that they're going to throw it right there. We got 15 curls. I'm a big curl guy when it comes to curls, comebacks, hitches. There's just plenty of them in here. I'm going to call this trips version. I really like it. So you got a basic curl flat on the other, which is curl swing more or less. And you got a true curl out on one side with a post on the back end. I'm going to go right here. Good catch. Going to pick up an easy 10 yards. Just simple stuff right there. There's 15 of them in this playbook. I suggest you use them. You go to double moves. We got 9 of these, but it's all a little bit of everything. And notice the shallow cross on the left. There's no double move routes. I don't know why they threw it in there. I get it with the slug go seam. That makes complete sense. That's a double move. You got 1 drive. That's it. You got 6 levels, though. This is, what's funny is levels is an extreme version of drive. You pretty much got like a third guy going in that same direction as you see like with drive post, but there's only 1 drive. So if you like to use Peyton Manning's favorite passing concept levels, you got 6 of them here to work with, which I think are pretty nice to use. We got 6 mesh and a little air raid if you need some of that. A little more drags, and that will work well with your levels. You go to Salem, we got 8 of these. Not pretty good amount of plays there. We got 4 shallow crosses. We got 1 slot cross, and then we got 21 smash. So this is a pro style playbook. So you're going to have plenty of smash built into this, and this is more than what you would ever need. And smash over here on the right, you got your 2 classic smash looks. You got a corner flat on one end with a hitch and a flag on the other. You got a couple spots, and you got a Texas route. Let's go over to the deep pass. We got 8 floods. I'm a big flood guy. It's very simple to read. You just go left to right or vice versa. 8 comebacks. This will complement your curl game really well. We got 4 daggers. It's just a go in the slot with a dig underneath it. You got 1 divide. You got a double dig. You got 5 double posts. You got 12 verticals. Pretty common. This is like usually the most common deep pass concept in the game. But to go along with the verticals, we're going to look at those shot plays here in a minute. You got meals, 4 of those. You got 8 Portland. So you're going to see some of these concepts that aren't too popular in some playbooks, but it's popular in this one because, again, pro style, it's just a little more varied in your concepts. And you got plenty of Portland there. You got 19 shot plays. I really like this. Going over the top. Not all of it's play action. Some of it is, some of it isn't. I really enjoy the play action flood looks, as I'm going to show you right here. Nifty little play. It's very simple. You just kind of read it. I read it short to high, or low to high. Drag routes wide open. Do some serious damage there. Kind of get in. Nice little touchdown. I love those type of floods. things of that nature. I think those just work really well. Let's see if I can get that play off again. Yeah, we'll just go back to him. Either way, I love those types of plays. Very simple to read. We keep on going. We got 8 switches. So again, notice the variation. We have a nice variety of concepts. But again, this is a pro style playbook. That's what I would expect. It's just got a little bit of everything, especially from the passing game. But that switch, if you need a nice little post wheel combo, this is good old run and shoot type stuff. And look at that WDT post. I hope I said that correctly. It's pretty much a mesh with a backside switch with a curl on the end. This is a really unique combination of routes, what I'm seeing right here. Technically, it's not even mesh. I guess you could call it mesh, but I'm going to go right here to the simple drag, pick up some easy yards. But again, if you like the switch, if you like a little mesh, if you like curl, it's all built into that one play right there. I love those types of plays when you combine different things. Really cool. All right, so we got plenty of deep stuff to go along with your mediums. Let's look at play action. It says we only have 5, but we know better. It's going to have more than that. It says we got like 4 slides. Let's look at the screens. Now, we've already looked at these already. A lot of these are going to be these RPOs. We looked at 6 bubbles. It says we got 8 flanker screens. We've already looked at some of these extreme wide receiver screens. And there's the wide receiver mid screen we looked at. Look, there's 3 of those. Look how heavy those things are. But if you go over to play type, you go to pass, you go to screen pass, there are technically 20 old school screens, true screens. You got halfback slip screens, you got flanker screens, mid screens, jailbait screens. I love these types of screens. They're very simple to use. I love this. I think the slip screens for the halfbacks work really well if you can get the play off. Get through here, and I didn't even hit the button. He got stuck. Oh, that happens with a halfback. If you can get the halfback through the line, you can go right there, and hopefully you can pick up some decent yardage. Again, it just kind of comes down to your block. I think those plays work pretty decently. They're good change-ups, especially if you're going to go up against heavy blitzing and whatnot. But we got 29 pass plays. So here's another thing I really wanted to point out. 29, this is a really low number. So most pro-style playbooks, you would think run, play action, go over the top. Well, that is true, but 29 is such a low number compared to so many other playbooks I've seen. But what's great about this playbook, if you go to shotgun pass, we got over almost 120 dropbacks in the shotgun alone. Look at all these, an absolute ton. So this is the bulk of the offense. You run the ball, but you do a lot of dropbacks. So if you're not a big play action guy, man, use this playbook. Look at all the stuff you can do here strictly out of dropbacks alone. You do got one standard pass that's an under center drop back. You got one, but again, the bulk of everything you're going to do is from out here. So that's what I suggest you do. Focus your drop back passing game and then sprinkle in whatever run concepts you enjoy, the ones we just covered a little bit earlier. Let's look at the runs in a little bit different way. We got 28 inside handoffs, and then you got 6 outside handoffs. So the bulk of your run game is going to be right here. However, we got a couple pitches, those counters we looked at. You got to include the draw. This is why I pointed out those dropbacks earlier. There's so many dropback passes in this playbook. You have to include this stuff as well. It just complements each other so well. We got one fullback run, and we got a few QB runs. We got a QB wrap and a QB blast. So as much as this is a pro style playbook, you can actually move around with your quarterback a little bit. Beyond basic option, you can do basic runs like this and pick up quick yardage, whatever you need. And that's going to really show when we look at the roster here in a little bit. So let's go look at the option. You got 20 overall option plays. Most of it's those reads and speeds. Whichever one you like, go whichever one, go with both. It's just up to you. Then we got those 17 RPOs. These are just, I think, additions to the playbook. I don't think this is the focus of the playbook, but they are in here if you need it. And it's your most basic ones that the game offers. Okay, so we've covered all this. What I want to do is go over to the roster. I'm going to go to coaching. I'm going to go to the depth chart. Let's just talk about how to not so much recruit, but just kind of what you're looking for this type of offense. So this particular roster fits perfectly with the playbook, obviously. We got the quarterback. So what did we just look at? We looked at a bunch of dropbacks. We looked at some QB draws. We looked at QB blast. It's got a little speed option, a little read option. Well, look at their best quarterback here. He's got 83 speed. If you can find somebody who can throw the ball, obviously with all those dropbacks, but can also run a little bit. You don't need the greatest runner in the world, but if you really want to include some of that option stuff, this is the type of player you need here at quarterback. Now, this guy's considered a field general. I don't really pay too much attention to the physicals and mentals. Most people are really into that stuff, but again, it just comes down to their raw ratings. What can they really do? Definitely look at some speed. You go over here, you look at his throwing arm and whatnot. I'm going to go actually to the deep and throw. Yeah, we can look at these. So we got throwing power. Look, this guy's got just a really solid arm across the board. Definitely get somebody who can throw, obviously, because we got so much dropbacks, but don't forget, use a little bit of a speed if you want to. Now, you don't have to use the option stuff in this playbook, but there's so much of it in here. But it's very quarterback-friendly offense, in my opinion. I don't see why you shouldn't even, just get somebody who can run a little bit, okay? That's what I would do for the quarterback for this offense. When it comes to halfback, it depends on how much you're going to throw to the halfback. And also depends on how much you're going to run. If you want to have a nice balanced offense, get somebody who can run the ball. And since the playbook is so inside zone oriented between the tackles, you notice all those inside handoffs we had, get somebody like this guy right here, a power back. I think it's worth it. If he can catch the ball, that's awesome. But if he can't, I don't think it's the end of the world. Like this kid right here can't catch it all that well. A 65 overall catch, that's okay. He can still probably make those halfback slip screen catches. But again, that's not the biggest priority. It just depends on how much of the halfback screen game you want to throw in there. Otherwise, this guy is meant to run the ball unless you're going to use a bunch of concepts in the passing game that's going to have this guy going out for a pass. Again, it's just kind of up to you. Fullback, if you notice, if you go back to our playbook, we didn't have any fullback formations at all. So if you go to personnel, we would have saw that in the 21 and 20 personnel looks. But notice we don't have any here. So if you go back to your roster, I would not bother getting a fullback. What's the point? You don't have any formations in here that really help them out. So I would ignore this altogether unless you're going to use goal line a whole lot, but then you could just put in some tight ends. Speaking of tight ends, actually, let's go look at receiver first. So receivers, when my personal opinion, when it comes to receivers, get somebody who can catch the ball. It doesn't matter if they're fast, if they're tall, if they can't catch, what's the point? Especially in this playbook where they are meant to go out for a pass and catch it. There's so many drop back passes in this playbook. You need somebody who can really catch. Now, this guy says he's a deep threat. We got a route runner. I don't really care too much about the tendency for the receivers in this playbook. I don't think it matters as much. If you want deep threats, I guess you want to keep them on the outside, route runners on the inside. But this is such a diverse passing game. You just need somebody who can definitely catch the ball, and everything else just kind of works off of that. That's just my opinion. Everything else, I think it's just kind of a moot point. But you did notice we did have some of that slot option out of the spread flex. If you need some speedsters out there, you can definitely do that. Like I'm going to go over here. And for like this kid right here, their top receiver, he's got 94 speed. You may want to throw him over in spread flex. We'll go back to that. Go to resume. Let's go here. If you go back to formation, you go to a shotgun and you go to spread flex. I suggest you do this jet touch pass with that top receiver, the shovel option. Then you can go to load option, get a speedster at that particular position right there, just for this formation. Make it a little mini series, a little sub package in and of its own. Put that top receiver right there just for that formation, and I think you're going to have a good time with it. Okay, let's go back to the roster. Really cool stuff. It's got a nice variety of things here I really like. So when it comes to receivers, get guys who can catch. But if you can find a speedster or two that can help you out in that little bitty mini series we just talked about, by all means, definitely go get that. Tight ends. So we've already looked at the several amount of tight end formations we have in this playbook. I'm assuming since there's so much passing game involved here, you're going to want your tight ends to be able to catch the ball. So treat your tight ends honestly no different than your wide receivers. At least let them catch at least a little bit. Now, all these guys right here, these top four, these guys can catch well enough. So they would do perfectly. Now, this guy's considered a vertical threat possession, a vertical threat. Again, Tennessee is not that big of a deal. Just look at the raw numbers. Get somebody who can do that, but if you don't expect to throw to your tight ends a whole lot, get some big dudes. This guy's 6'5", 240, 255, 240. Most of the tight ends are not going to have the greatest blocking ratings in the world. If you go over here, let's see if I can find, go over to, let me go find it. There we go. So like run block and whatnot, you notice 55. This guy is not a blocker. His pass blocking probably isn't all that good either. Let's see, impact blocking, lead block. Again, these guys are meant to catch the ball and become weapons for you. So it just kind of depends on what you're looking for. But since, again, the passing game is so diverse and you're going to do a lot of dropbacks and a lot of passing in general, and then the bulk of the formations in this playbook has got a tight end in it, Get somebody who can catch the ball. And this guy really fits that, in my opinion. When it comes to the offensive line, it's up to you. Do you need plenty of protection? Do you need guys who can just simply block? Go get the best ones possible. If you want to make this a pass-happy offense for it comes to tackle, get a pass protector. You come all the way over here, and it takes forever to get over to these ratings. You come all the way over here. If you can find somebody who can pass block for you, that would be great. I'm going to come, let's see if I can get over there to it. Takes forever. There we go. Pass block, 88 pass block. This is what you need at tackle, especially with this playbook. This guy is like no different. You got pass block power, pass block finesse. Anyway, get somebody who can really block for you. Now, when it comes to guards, you may want more of a running idea here. Look at this guy. He's a power guard. Maybe get somebody like that who can really run block for you. You can also get pass protectors. Again, it depends on what you need. If you need balance, just get the best one you can find. If you need a pass protector, go get that. Pretty simple. Same with the center. I treat centers no different than guards. Do you need somebody who can block, pass block, run block, both? Just get the best one you can find, and I think you'll be okay. So again, just the playbook in general, I think it works great. I like it. It's a nice little pro-style playbook that you can do a lot of things with. I love how drop back pass happy it is. I like the halfback draw, all the draws and whatnot. It's just a nice shotgun-based pro-style playbook that I think you can have a lot of fun with it, and you can sprinkle in really fun stuff like out of this formation if you wanted to as well. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later.